So here we are to talk about sustainable and responsible businesses. My name is Jordan Howell, and I'm a professor here at Rowan. In fact, I'm a professor of sustainable business. So I'm going to assume that we're all familiar already with what a business is, but that we might be less familiar with what a sustainable business might be, or even what the word sustainability means by itself. In reality, people have been concerned about the environment for a very long time. Figures from history you might be familiar with already, like John Muir, Rachel Carson, or Dr. Wangari Maathai, have all been prominent figures who dedicated their lives to working to protect special ecosystems and landscapes, warn the public about the dangers of harmful chemicals and pollution, or stop the worst forms of deforestation and environmental destruction in the world's poorest countries. But it's only been more recently that the broader public, and especially businesses, have come to be concerned with something called sustainability. What does that word even mean? Well, starting in the 1970s and 1980s, many folks around the world started to question the logic of rapid economic growth. Now, to be clear, economic growth by itself is not bad. The growth of businesses and economies around the world in the second half of the 20th century has lifted literally millions of people out of poverty and improved standards of living and quality of life around the globe. But starting in the 1970s and 1980s, many began to link rapid economic growth with environmental destruction and proposed the idea that if we were to continue using natural resources at such a fast pace, it wouldn't be long before we have both run out of natural resources and also created so much pollution that we could have trouble surviving as a species on the planet. So in 1987, one definition of sustainability was floated, that it is this idea of development which meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. And that's a fine place to start any consideration of sustainability. The word by itself simply means being able to continue something for an indefinite amount of time. So if we wanted to really be sustainable and continue our activities as humans for an indefinite amount of time, we absolutely have to pay closer attention to how we're using natural resources, how much pollution we're creating, and how we deal with our waste. Now, here's an interesting wrinkle to that proposition. We can't just focus on the environmental aspects of the problem, as big as they are. We could halt all business activity, everyone's jobs, everyone's lives, and probably do a lot of good with regard to the natural environment. However, clearly, our lives would suffer dramatically if everyone were to become unemployed or run out of food or cease to have things like electricity or clean water. So we have to expand our understanding of sustainability to include not only environmental issues, but also social ones, and then expand it again to include not only environmental and social issues, but also economic ones. We actually need to find ways of caring for all three of these things simultaneously: people, profit, and the planet, to be truly on our way towards sustainability. Now, what's the role of business in all of this? Didn't they actually cause a lot of the problems that we've now decided we want to do something about? Well, yes, for sure. All types of businesses and economic activities make an environmental impact. Everything we do as humans is tied to natural resources in some way, whether that's as an input for making something, or when we rely on the atmosphere or bodies of water or unused land to help absorb all of our waste materials. Since the dawn of the industrial era over 200 years ago, businesses have been designed to operate in a linear fashion. You take natural resources, you make things with them, and then you waste or discard the byproducts of the process, which might include the garbage that we all create when we throw things out. This idea of a linear economy is one that is inherently unsustainable. Not only will we run out of natural resources, but we will run out of ways to rid ourselves of pollution and waste. It's far too easy and too pessimistic, however, to just decide that businesses are bad for the environment. Yes, they can be. But what if we tried to imagine another way? What if instead of the focus on a linear, one-way economy, we instead decided to create business models that emphasize more careful resource use, or that we're able to take a waste product from another person or business and turn it into something useful? Or maybe even imagine businesses that left the earth in better shape than it was when they started. Those are the ideas that you see here: a more circular economy that reduces demand for raw materials by using wastes as inputs, or a regenerative economy that restores the health of land, sea, and air through its operations. It might sound like a fantasy, but it's already happening. Look here at this example of an industrial park in a city called Kalundborg in the country of Denmark. Through careful planning, 14 different business sites are connected to one another in order to share energy and water resources. More impressively, the waste products from one production site are actually fed into manufacturing processes at other sites. So one company's waste literally becomes the raw materials for another firm. Finding ways of turning the current model around to one that emphasizes sustainability is a pretty tall order. But there's so much momentum lately that now is exactly the right time to act. For instance, a major group representing business interests called the Business Roundtable recently revised their statement on the purpose of a corporation. They moved from focusing only on profits and shareholders to a broader inclusion of workers and the environment in addition to economic health. And that's the very definition of sustainability. And a few years ago, the United Nations, after many years of intense science and social science research, released a list of 17 sustainable development goals that everyone around the world can work towards. You can see here that the goals include environmental issues like clean air, clean water, and proper waste management, but also social issues like reducing inequality and increasing access to education and healthcare. More and more companies all the time are revising their missions to incorporate the Sustainable Development Goals, while new businesses are starting up that have one or several of the goals as key elements of their operations. But how does all this actually work? Well, there are several business models you could adopt for being a sustainable and responsible business, but some basic strategies are shown here. You could, for instance, change the way that you make or do something. Maybe you're a farmer or a food producer. You could commit to growing crops without chemicals and pesticides, or maybe commit to using only organic ingredients and materials. You could dedicate a portion of your proceeds to a beneficial cause, like those companies who participate in the 1% for the Planet program. These businesses, like the clothing and outdoor equipment maker Patagonia, commit to donating 1% of their revenues each year to social and environmental causes. Or maybe you start a business that is entirely focused on an environmental or sustainability goal, like a company that supplies equipment for renewable energy, or a community bank that lends money to underrepresented groups and communities. Now, if you're hearing all this and you're a bit skeptical, you're not alone. You might be thinking that it's hard enough to run a business without the additional pressure of saving the planet. But even if you didn't care one bit about achieving positive social and environmental change, there's a lot of research showing that companies with a sustainability focus might be more successful than companies committed to the status quo. One such study published in the Harvard Business Review found 6 clear advantages for companies who had committed to sustainable business practices. These included competitive advantage through stakeholder engagement, improved risk management, more success with innovation, improved financial performance, stronger customer loyalty measures, and better luck attracting and engaging and keeping good employees. So all that is to say that making a sustainability a focus of your business can improve the bottom line no matter what. Of course, none of these things will happen on their own. We need all of you to learn about sustainability in business, just as you learn about accounting, finance, operations, human resources, IT systems, and entrepreneurship, and all the other great things that you study here in the Rowan College of Business at Rowan. And if this sounds like something you want to pursue, we have classes and even entire degree programs focused on sustainable business, as well as the Rowan Center for Responsible Leadership that Dr. Susanna Santos is going to tell you about next.
Hi everyone, my name is Dr. Susanna Santos and I'm a co-director of the Rowan Center for Responsible Leadership together with my colleague, Dr. Jordan Howell. So today I'm here to talk to you a little bit about the center, how you can find us, and what do we do. So the Rowan Center for Responsible Leadership, or RCRL, values social responsibility, sustainability, and organizational ethics. We offer students with many events, and we are located in Business Hall 216. So come by anytime. We would be happy to see you. You can also find us on the website go.rowan.edu/RCRL and follow us on social media. The mission of the Rowan Center for Responsible Leadership is to support the values of social responsibility, sustainability, and organizational ethics among students, faculty, and the community partners through the implementation of both the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals and the principles of responsible management education. The United Nations Sustainable Development Goals were developed in the scope of the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development adopted by all the United Nations member states in 2015. It provides a shared blueprint for peace and prosperity for people and the planet, now and also into the future. The 17 Sustainable Development Goals, which you can see here, are an urgent call for action by all countries, both developed and developing, in a global partnership. They recognize that ending poverty and other deprivations must go hand in hand with strategies that improve health and education, reduce inequality, and spur economic development, all while tackling climate change and working to preserve our oceans and forests. You can know more about the SDGs, the Sustainable Development Goals, on this website. The Principles for Responsible Management Education is a United Nations supported initiative founded in 2007. This platform aims to raise the profile of sustainability in schools around the world, and PRME equips today's business students, just like you, with the understanding and ability to deliver change tomorrow. Rowan University is part of the PRME initiative, and we are proudly a champion school, which means that we contribute to thought and action leadership on responsible management education in the context of the United Nations Sustainable Development Agenda. The Rowan Center for Responsible Leadership has three main areas of action. First, research. Our RCB faculty does very interesting research on topics related to responsible leadership. We are excited to share our work with the students, so please check out the website to know more about it. Second, teaching. There are several classes related to responsible leadership. For example, there's a joint offering with the BA in Environmental and Sustainability Studies plus the MBA, a certificate on graduate studies, sustainability studies, minor in ethics, certificate of undergraduate studies in ethics, and much more. So please check out our website to learn more about our classes. And third, public engagement. The RCRL offers several speakers events, workshops, documentaries every semester. There is an exciting calendar of events planned out, so please check out our website and also our social networks. So these are the three main areas of the Rowan Center for Responsible Leadership. And this is it about the Rowan Center for Responsible Leadership for now. If you want to know more, please reach out to us and follow our pages on social media. And remember, the Rowan Center for Responsible Leadership is here to help you to become a more responsible leader, thinking at the same time about the environment, the economy, and the human societies. I'm looking forward to meet you soon. Bye.